Welcome to Pushing Forward with Alycia, a podcast that gives disability a voice. Each week, we will explore topics like confidence, ambition, resilience, and finding success against all odds. We are creating a collective community that believes that all things are possible for all people. Open hearts, clear paths, let's go. Welcome back to Pushing Forward with Alycia. I am Alycia, and I want to start this podcast episode today with a question. What happens when advocacy meets artistry and rare disease warriors refuse to stay silent? I think bold things happen, unstoppable actions. I'm so excited to introduce our guests. First, we connected over a booking request to come and speak at their event that's happening on August 2nd, coming soon. We're going to talk about that. And then we made fast friends. I'm so excited to introduce Avery Roberts. She is a fierce rare disease and disability advocate, a speaker, a professional dancer who lives with congenital muscular dystrophy, CMD. She's gone from Capitol Hill to New York's biggest stages, and she's challenging stereotypes and championing accessibility so it's done right. Love that. And meet Kelly Berger. She's a dynamic advocate from Cincinnati, Ohio, whose CMD journey fuels her passion for mentorship, public advocacy, accessible travel, and she's been with over 40 states explored in her adaptive van and multiple national awards under her belt. Kelly is proof that inclusion and independence can go hand in hand. Yes, they can. I love that. Welcome to the show, friends and beautiful ladies. I'm so excited that we're having this conversation. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having us. We're just excited.
Thank you.
So
chat.
Okay, so can we start with the heart of your story? So how did your journeys in advocacy begin, and what fuels that passion today? Who wants to take that first?
I can go first. So I
Kelly.
really didn't dive into more advocacy in my journey till a couple years ago, honestly, just hearing from Avery and what all she's done. It kind of just pushed me to get out of my comfort zone and go and fight for the things that our community needs. And I just crawled the advocacy bug and wanted to keep doing more and more. So I started out virtually and then worked up to in person at the state level and then took it to the federal level last year at Rare Disease Week. So at Capitol Hill, that was really so moving and so empowering. And I haven't stopped now. And our political climate is at a time where we need more advocates. So it's just really important to keep speaking up and using our voices for good.
I love that you just brought up our political climate, because I agree with you that we need more advocacy than ever right now. And it sounds like it's fueling you rather than fearing you. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, for sure. I know right now it's scary times. I am scared, but definitely I think to keep pushing myself. I actually attended my first protest a couple weeks ago, and that was just so moving and so powerful. And I just think it's really important for us all to kind of unite and band together to really stick up for the disability community's needs, because right now that's being questioned, and we really need to keep fighting instead of going backwards and to keep pushing forward, obviously. Little pronoun there for you, right? Pushing forward. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Love it. Avery, what about you?
I would say the heart of my story is kind of similar to Kelly's. I started advocacy on Capitol Hill, I would say around 5 years ago now. And I think I really just realized and had a true awakening that if I am not happy with how our world meets or attempts to meet our needs, then the only way that we're going to see real change is if we raise our voices. And so then I started into our legislators at the federal and state levels, especially on Capitol Hill, to ensure that public policy meets the needs of our rare disease community, just because I think I've learned the power of lived experience. And so if you haven't really come in contact with disability, or if you haven't actually lived our life, our lifestyle, and navigated our journeys, then you probably don't really know what we need. And so that's kind of what is still sparking my passion as well, just our lived experiences in all areas of life. And so that's kind of what drives me, as well as just all the other experiences that I've heard within our large community. That's really what drives my passion.
I love that. Can we talk about your community and congenital muscular dystrophy a little bit? How has living with CMD shaped your voices and your vision and your advocacy? Can you speak to kind of how it shows up the community and the advocacy there?
Yeah, Kelly, I know that you get kind of uncomfortable speaking about CMD. So just how to put it into words.
The sciencey stuff and stuff.
The science and stuff. So congenital muscular dystrophy, or CMD, is a rare genetic disorder of the muscles that causes them to break down faster than they can repair or grow. And so that's kind of the main characteristic and symptom of CMD, which leaves our community members, as well as Kelly and I, primarily as mobility device users. Kelly and I both utilize power wheelchairs as our main means and sources of mobility. And so I would say that's the major characteristic of CMD, congenital, meaning that it appears at or soon after birth. All of our community members are different, basically. We all can be similar in certain ways, but are also different at the same time. Our severity level is different, our progression is different, and appears at different times. Some of our symptoms might be different. Another prominent characteristic is respiratory insufficiency. And so a lot of our community members utilize some kind of breathing device, whether it be at night or during the day. It's non-invasive equipment. Else, in terms of CMD, I think a lot of people hear about Duchenne muscular dystrophy or spinal muscular atrophy. And actually, our community members are often misdiagnosed with SMA before they reach their official CMD diagnosis. And so that just kind of shows how similar they are. But congenital muscular dystrophy is not often brought up in terms of newborn screening or just when we're diving into diagnostics and stuff. We're rare, but we're not so rare. We're all around the globe. Kelly and I live with an ultra rare form of CMD called collagen 6 related dystrophy, or col6. So there are 5 primary subtypes of CMD. Kelly, did I miss anything?
We're just to get it all together. Yeah. So for us, we're more in that space of the ultra rare. So the other muscular dystrophies, there's hundreds of them. At this point, we're not really often overlooked or pushed in the background. So we're trying to bridge that gap of getting a better diagnostic journey to get diagnosed with CMD so that we have a stronger community to band together and meet our community's needs.
Amazing. I mean, thank you for sharing that. And you're ultra rare, but ultra fabulous too. I'm assuming all the advocacy that's going on right now with Medicaid and all the things that are on the table right now with cuts is affecting your community pretty heavily. Do you want to speak to that at all? And you don't have to, but if you have anything to say there, I would love to know.
I would say, it's scary times. Kelly and I are terrified, to say the least. To put some context around it, Medicaid is how our community members, as well as Kelly and I, receive healthcare coverage, at-home care assistance. It's how we pay for our costly medical equipment, as well as medications, if that's applicable. And so it's really a lifeline for our community. And so seeing every single day what's going on in our rapidly evolving political environment, it's dehumanizing and it's scary. And just to think about how they are looking to basically erase and eliminate us and our community. It's hard. I feel like we've said before, it's important and pivotal that we raise our voices now more than ever.
And share the human stories here. That's the work that you're doing, and humanizing this stuff is so important. So I really appreciate you talking through that a little bit. Kelly, do you have anything to add?
Oh, no, I would just say, Anna, to just the timing of all this going down on the cusp of Disability Pride Month, as well as the University ADA, is kind of like a slap in the face. We don't want to be celebrated. We're going backwards instead of in the forward motion. So, yeah, it's all sad. And I hope that we make a change or something happens drastically the way we're not in that state, but I guess we'll see what happens here. But we definitely all need to stay united in that fight for the disability community.
100%. Can we talk about something fun?
Of
Something
course.
that sounds fun and interesting. Avery, let's start with you. So you've danced at Radio City Music Hall. I'm obsessed with this. What was that moment like as a wheelchair user? Can you talk a little bit about breaking barriers in performance and art?
Sure. So outside of the work I do with Kelly, I'm very passionate about disability representation and inclusion done by our entertainment industry and media. And that kind of also comes from my lived experiences. And so unfortunately, I've had some different experiences, as I'm sure other people in the industry, whether you're an actor or a dancer or a singer, whether you're behind the camera or in front of the camera or on stage or backstage, has experienced. And so there's a lack of knowledge and access in our industry. Kelly and I have grown up not seeing ourselves reflected in what we watched on TV or in the children's books that we read. And so that's kind of what I'm striving for, the authenticity there, so that people know that their narrative is worthy of being reflected in any piece of art, really. And so I'm really passionate about increasing that access, increasing that support, because it even goes back to accessibility in dressing rooms or how to do a quick change effectively and efficiently. It's the little things that I've learned through my lived experiences. And so that's kind of what has really sparked my passion in the space. But I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to combine my love of dance with breaking down those barriers and to be leading the charge in this way. Because I'm not the only one. I can think of a couple in the industry who are kind of leading this change right now. And so you mentioned I was the first wheelchair user to dance on the great stage of Radio City Music Hall. And I was so fortunate to have that opportunity, and I'm still so grateful for it, but I shouldn't have had to be the first. I think about that a lot. But it was truly such a surreal moment, not only for me and my loved ones and all my family and friends that were able to make it out for that incredible moment, but as well as just our community. The fact that around, I think it was 5K or 6K people were able to see the first wheelchair user. I hope that every single one of those people walked away thinking that having a different perspective on who can dance, because you can dance no matter your ability and whatever. And so something that one of my choreographers said at a talk back that we were doing once was that disability is only relevant when it has to be. And so I think that's kind of what I live by, not only in the industry, but just in all facets of life as well.
2 takeaways. Number 1, I love that you're focusing on the performance, but also the details, right? And anytime I've ever performed outside of speaking, there's always been this stress thing about how am I going to change? Am I going to be private? Who's going to see me? What is going to happen? So those little things that cause us a lot of anxiety in between the performance is such a thing. And so I love it that you're focused on the details of getting to the point of performance where you get to shine, but like, how do you get on the stage? How do you change?
Exactly.
How does the mic fit? Like all those things. So I love that. And number 2, I love even more what you said about you were the first, and that's awesome. But we shouldn't be having to celebrate the first. Like this should just be. And Steph Aiello, I don't know if you follow her, but she was the first makeup artist, quadriplegic, to do an Alta app. And she says the same thing. I was the first and it went viral and all these things, but I want things to not go viral. I want these movements to be just so typical. They don't go viral. It's not a thing. And just part of life. So I love that you have that theory behind you being the first too, because I think that's a really important point. But congratulations on being the first too.
Thank you.
Many things come from being the first too. It's an opportunity to practice being a leader and just all of that. So anyways, love that story. Congratulations. Okay, Kelly, I'm going to switch to you for something fun too. You've traveled 40 states. I love travel, accessibility, all of the things. And for you, what role has travel, adventure, independence, empowerment through those experiences? How is that transcended into your life? And what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it give you? What does it give you?
I just always been a passion of mine to just explore and find new places and just be out and about in society and just have those same type of experiences that anyone would have. So just, even though it's not always easy, each hotel is a gamble and the room you book is not always the room you get. It's not to your needs. There's so many things and variables when it comes to travel to take in mind. But for me, it's worth it. I love to just keep getting out there and keep exploring. So I definitely just learning from that too and being out and teaching others what it's like that you can travel and do all these things no matter what you live with and your experiences are. So yeah, just for me, I just love that sense of adventure. That's really what.
What's been your favorite? What has been your top?
I know it's hard. So I've always been a lover of a beach and tropical. So it's in Florida or in California with a good beach and warm and sunny. And I love a good boardwalk, a good beach setting. That's kind of my favorites. But I also like the bigger cities, just exploring all different architecture and different museums and things like that too. So I'm pretty happy anywhere. I don't live in the cold, so I'm not a mountain or snow person. That's not really my vibe, but I can really make the most and go anywhere. I just like to travel.
I love it. I lived in the snow when I was young in my 20s, and I was like, I can do anything. And it was the hardest thing living in the
Right. The
like,
struggle. Yeah.
yeah. And I lived in an apartment building and I would have to shovel feet of snow, and people would be outside on their balconies kind of watching me. Nobody would help, but I'm just never going to get through this. It's so hard. I'd climb on the roof of my car to scrape the windshield. I mean, I really made that hard. Why wouldn't I ask for, I never wanted to ask for help when I was younger. I just didn't want to be that person. And I'm kind of ashamed to say that now with the work that I do. But it took me a long time to understand that asking for help isn't showing weakness. It's actually more of a strength. So that was back in my day. One time it snowed so heavy. There was a long driveway in the front of my apartment building and I couldn't shovel. I didn't have my shovel with me, all of the things. So I just hit the gas, went as far as I could get. My car stopped and then I crawled. Oh my God. I crawled in the snow to my front door and left my wheelchair in the car.
Oh Lord.
That's my story to the kids. I had to crawl through this to get home one day. Anyway, let's talk about mentorship. I know you work doing a lot of mentorship within your community. I'm assuming within some of your young community. Can you talk about some of that work and its impact that you've seen?
Yeah, for sure. So me and Avery love to kind of the new generation, the younger adults, we love to kind of help be their guides and be just a friend, a mentor to them to help them navigate that journey and steer them towards resources and things that they may not know about that we didn't have growing up, but we're kind of going out blindly. And so we definitely want to make those life transitions easier for those that are going through it. So that's just a passion that we love to help in those cases.
So huge. I didn't have many resources growing up either.
Right. And coming out of blind, and it's exhausting to try to dig for all the things that you wish you had. So I would just try to put that up the forefront and help make it easier for them.
Can we talk a little about Cure CMD, the work that you do there? I'm assuming a lot of the resources come from your organization. Let's talk about the conference a little bit and how we can get involved.
Yeah. So Cure CMD is one of the many nonprofits that Kelly and I partner with. And basically, we work a lot in the community side, like you had said, and provide and spearhead the educational and informative content, like Kelly was referencing in terms of the resources. So we have a young adult resource page on the Cure CMD website, but we're having Alycia, you come speak to our young adult program at our upcoming Congenital Muscle Disease Scientific and Family SIPAIM conference. It is going to be hosted in Philly at the beginning of August, but it's a 4-day conference where we bring together all stakeholders, not only in the CMD community, but as well as in myopathy community and the titanopathy community. So we partner with 2 other patient advocacy organizations who are all in the congenital muscle disease space. And it's a time where we can get the latest updates on research and care from our clinicians and researchers. CMD is one of the many patient advocacy nonprofits that Kelly and I partner with. And basically, we spearhead a lot of the community side. And so we provide educational and informative content to our community where we can bring our unique angle as CMD affected individuals to all that we do, as well as adapt to other people's perspective and experiences in the community. That's kind of what Kelly was hinting at with the resources that we provide. We have a young adult resource page on our website. Also, we founded and run the young adult program and the young adult programming at our upcoming Congenital Muscle Disease Scientific and Family SIPAIM conference, where Alycia, you're going to come and speak to our
Yay.
group, which we're really excited about.
Yeah.
The SIPAIM is going to be in Philly in the beginning of August. Basically, it brings together over 500 stakeholders in the congenital muscular dystrophy, myopathy, and tendinopathy communities. So we partner with 2 other patient advocacy groups who are also in the congenital muscle disease space. Basically, it's just a time for people to learn, connect, and share. Our community is able to learn of the latest research updates in each subtype, in each group, in each community, as well as connect with people in person. Since our community is global, it's really the only time that we can get our community together in person. So it's really a time that a lot of people look forward to, and it's a highly anticipated event just because of it's also a time for our clinicians all around the world and researchers to be able to meet with the community that they're serving, with the affected individuals that they're serving, because to date, there is no cure or treatment for CMD. And so this is the time for them to actually speak and meet with the people who they're serving to really get a sense for what our affected individuals want in terms of upcoming treatments and cure. We're really excited to have you, Alycia, to speak to our young adult group. Yeah, that's a little bit more on SIPAIM.
I'm so excited. I wish I could be there in person one of these days.
Yeah.
Is there a virtual option or is it just in person?
The sessions will be recorded. We are going to have a virtual event in a couple months
Hybrid.
after SIPAIM, but more info for that soon.
Perfect.
Soon.
I think I want to ask you a question that I wasn't planning on because I love it that all of our disabilities on this meeting today, this interview, are congenital. And I'm not in a room very often that everybody's congenital disability. Can you
Yeah.
talk to our community that's listening about the ones that are growing up young with a disability? How did you get from growing up young with a disability to being in leadership roles? Like, how do you get there from a confidence standpoint?
I think that comes with time. I feel like acceptance is a really big thing. Like coming to terms with your disability. If you live with it since birth, I think that we all process it in different ways and kind of gaining that confidence, like you said earlier, asking for help. That's a big step. I think it just really stems from your being comfortable and being self-aware and accepting. And I think too, once you live it, you understand it more as you continue to grow in age. And I think from there, like me and Avery, like whether you use your voice or whether you're more public, I think that just comes with time. Some people are more quiet and shy, and that's okay too. But I think it really stems from just being comfortable and owning your disability, knowing that's kind of the way from choosing to use it as a positive or a negative. So it really is all about outlook too, how you perceive yourself and where that goes. But yeah, I think anybody can step up and be a leader. And it takes time. I know for Avery, she's younger, and me, it took longer, but we're both there, and it's okay. It happens for everyone differently.
You have any advice there, Avery?
I would just say you ultimately define how disability affects you, how disability limits you in some cases. Like Kelly was saying, I feel like I would just echo time, acceptance. I think everybody's journey and path is different. And so don't think that you need to follow someone else's journey. I think Kelly and I especially have had to, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Alycia, have had to create our own path. And so we hope that the younger generations and those who come after us can then use our path to get into leadership roles and stuff. I think networking is huge. Kelly and I love connecting with other people. If you're listening to this, please reach out. We love connecting with other people traveling along a similar journey as us and just chatting and sharing experiences, as well as how can we all collaborate to further the fight and back each other up. You don't have to live with a disability to be an ally with our community. That's something that Kelly and I try to really encourage, push. I would just say follow your own journey, and that's only your journey.
I love it. I love it. Powerful. So we're going to leave all of the information for So Much in our show notes. for the CMD website, for the SIPAIM 2025 conference, how to get tickets, how to show up, how to support, how to donate, how to get involved, how to follow you on social media, all of the things. Did we miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
No, there we go.
Great conversation. A beautiful conversation. Okay. You're going to have to come back on. I think there's a lot more that we could have talked about, honestly.
I too.
Yeah, I love it.
Coming
soon. So we have made it to the pushing forward moment. Can you send our community off with a little motivation from your end? Who wants to go first? Little mantra, something. No pressure.
Okay, I guess so. My pushing forward moment would be just know that you're not alone in your journey. A lot of us are out there living that. And I would say don't stop fighting. It's going to be hard. It's not easy. Don't let anybody diminish your needs. Just don't stop fighting.
I love
I
that.
love that, Kelly. Oh my God.
Tough act to
How
follow.
I'm gonna follow that. I would say something that Kelly has said before is don't take no for an answer. And so I've tried to really lead with that. Very powerful, Kelly. I always say in terms of people who are outside of the disability community, meet me outside of the box. And that inclusivity is an invitation. Society kind of tends to put our disability community in this predefined box. So I want to be met outside of the box, and I want disability to be normalized and our community to be fully included, fully accepted, not separated in our society. For people within the disability community, I would say don't stop fighting. Find your community, find the people who support you and who uplift you. I think that's where it all stems from, especially together as a collective.
I love it. Don't stop fighting and meet me outside of the box. That could be a title to your book one day. That's powerful. That's a great statement. Ladies, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you're in my life and that we're going to be spending time together on August 2nd. And hopefully many people that are listening will also be grabbing their tickets now. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you to our Pushing Forward community for joining us on another episode. If you love this episode and want to be a great ally and you want to think outside of the box, please share it, subscribe, and help us continue to grow our community. This has been Avery, Kelly, and Alycia, and this has been Pushing Forward with the three of us. And that is literally how we roll on this podcast. We will see you next time.